Tommy Gilliam. I am a proud son of Tommy Gilliam. I'll be real quick. I just want to ask this question. I feel like I'm speaking on behalf of the whole town, but it has been a rock'em sock'em divisive campaign so far, in my opinion. Irregardless of who the next administration is, will is me. On day one, candidates, what can you do to sow some seeds of goodwill to bring us all back together? And because if the council not together, then what we're going to have at West Point is a Washington, D.C. stalemate, and then other stuff that the mayor or the present council trying to get done is going to happen. So,
excuse me, sir. Your question is, what will they do to bring the people?
Seeds of goodwill to bring us all back together. This is the divisive campaign.
Thank you.
Bring the city council back together. I would use my experience that I see with what I do every day at work. I meet with everyone, lots of people in the community. We're faced with many different issues. What one person is faced with is not the same as another, but I have to help them make the right decisions, given or informing them with the most information I can to help them then make the right choices in furtherance of their goals. I do the same thing here with the other candidates and with the mayor. Do whatever it takes to work together to reach the same goals and objectives, which should be making this an even better city than it already is.
You're probably looking at the only person that's on the council that actually talks to everybody. We've had some disagreements, but I swallow and I keep on working, because you cannot work together when it's always some type of confusion. So I refuse not to have communication with everybody.
On day one, whether I'm elected or not, I think the council should put aside their personal feelings, work together, respect each other, and work for the citizens of West Point.
Yeah, it's not about us. It's about us. It's about the whole town. And we should treat each other the way that we would like to be treated. I think the good book has something to say about that. I'm not exactly sure. But I do think that if we would live that simple little principle, we can find peace. Even when we live in disagreement, we can find peace. We do it all the time in church.
You know, there are differences in candidates, all of us. Sometimes there's conflicts. But ultimately, we're serving the same goal. I think most recently we watched it in Washington, D.C., where you had the Republicans and the Democrats fighting with one another, and they just didn't want to come to a compromise. They wasn't going to do it. But after the 11th hour, they did. But what did that do? It dropped the credit rating of our country. Who did that hurt? It hurt the people of the country. So I think sometimes we have to swallow our pride and try to work together, even if we can't agree, but come up with a compromise. But when we don't agree with someone, it doesn't mean that we don't like someone. It's not this, you either with us or you're against us type attitude either. That's the wrong attitude to take also. So, being a leader, you have always got to be willing to compromise, because what you're serving is just like those of us who have religious values. Who we serve is much more important. And who we serve is the citizens of this community. It's not about us, none of us candidates. It's about you, all of you. and how we can together, work together to help this community prosper. Now, we can't go around driving wedges into things just to get our way. Sometimes managers manage by divide and conquer. That's not my style. I've always managed through all of my management experience, through unifying and working with others to accomplish a common goal. Yes, they've been a wedge drove in this community, and it may take a long time for them splinters to get out. But we got to work to get them out, because we will not prosper as long as we're not unified behind one goal. Thank you.
I go back to the original point here, ladies and gentlemen, of this city. This city is no different than Washington, D.C. And what is happening in the world of politics in West Point, Alabama, Georgia, the whole nation is, it's a lot of dirty politics going on. That does not create unity. We need to quit sending out hateful emails. We need to stop sending out hateful letters to the editor. And y'all read about it, y'all hear this, so y'all know I'm telling the truth. Everybody knows that I don't do that. If I disagree with someone, I disagree, but I've never gotten personal with anybody. When you get personal with me and tell lies on me, I'm sorry, I'm just human, I'm not Jesus. I will respond to that. But I hope that we will not do these things, we'll stop doing that, because we hear these whispering what's going on about different people running for West Point and what they're and what they're doing. And so what I'm saying is that it pains me greatly when you spend a lifetime. If I start telling everybody what I've done in this city for the last 50 years, you truly be amazed, and some of you were not even born then. This town is going through some hard changes in my lifetime, and I've been a part of the solution, not the problem. Not the problem. I've been part of the solution in West Point. We had worked together, kept this development board together when they had sent in a resignation in December '06 because they couldn't get along with the present administration at that time. We got together, got it back together, Kia came in. Everybody played a role in that. I worked hard to have the West Point Development Authority get funded through the years. We all played a part in that. I have done several things, and I worked 50 plus years at Neighbors Music, and it pains me for people or anybody to say that the city council members are getting rich or has made a living out of $50 or $100 a month. Every councilman that I've known from Mayor Scott back in the 50s up to now, they make their living by hard work, their business, and so forth. They did not make their living from the city or West Point. If anybody here can survive off of $200 a month, please raise your hand and let me know about that history in town. I don't think it can happen that way. I don't get no hand. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I tend to disagree. I think that we're light years ahead of what's going on in Washington, D.C. I think this community has grabbed a hold of an opportunity here, and we're moving this community forward. And in many ways, I think we're more unified than we've ever been. But to answer the question, Thomas, about what do you do to show unity and to provide leadership? When I first ran for mayor, I thought that I had good leadership skills. But what I realized very quickly is that every group that I'd ever led had a single goal, whether it was professional associations, whether it was in athletics, whether it was church. And leading the city council has been one of the most intellectually challenging things that I've ever been involved with, because there are 6 independently elected bodies with 6 independent ideas, and many times they all don't mesh. I think the key to it, going forward is to have a clear vision, to continue to execute the steps in that vision. I also think it is vitally important to maintain a high level of transparency. Trust is built through transparent communication. As we move forward, we have to have the conversations of the council held out in the